good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching. I'll tell you who we are. We're Senior Issues, etc. I'm your host, Vita Verdon, and the show that I have for you today, I'll call it today because I don't know what time you'll be watching it, is a subject that all of us think about at some time, but very rarely do we have open discussions about it, to it, around it. And I don't know why, because it's something that I feel is really healthy to discuss. And the issue that we're going to discuss today is organ donation. And we have a prime person to talk about it because he's been through every step of it and he's an advocate of it. And this person that I have with me today, his name is Marcus Burnett, and he's been through and the ups and downs and the ins and outs of a heart transplant. And he's going to tell us everything that he's been through in an organization and a website that you can get more information on it. Marcus, good to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
You've already seen some of the show, so you know what we want. We want up close and personal, and we want everything. Okay. And if you don't give out the right kind of kisses, you got to do them again. So let us in on who you are and where you come from.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Again, my name is Marcus Burnett. I live here in Waukegan, Illinois. I've been in Waukegan since November of 1995. I'm married to my lovely wife, Robin, who is, I'm sure, watching us right now.
Notice he said lovely.
That's right.
Good for him.
That is my best friend.
Uh-huh.
We have 3 sons.
Uh-huh.
2 of them are here in Illinois with me. The other one is in Las Vegas. And I have.
What's he doing in Las Vegas?
He is working.
Oh.
Yeah, he is working and started a family. He's doing very well.
Good for him. He's got a job, right?
Yes. I'm
times.
thankful. These times it's very hard to find a job.
Uh-huh.
Now,
where were you born?
I was born in Des Moines, Iowa.
Uh-huh.
Many, many years ago.
Uh-huh.
I said I was born and raised in Des Moines. I left Des Moines in about 1974 and joined the Navy. Uh-huh. And traveled quite extensively. Uh-huh. And I ended up in Illinois in 1983. And Illinois has been my home since then.
Oh, good. Well, we're not going to let you get away without the kisses. So
yes.
A big one for your wife.
My wife.
Oh, that's
Love
good.
You.
That is good. And now one for each child.
Okay. This is for Marcus Jr., Damien, and Lamont.
Any grandchildren?
Yes.
You got to count them in, too.
Damien Jr., Isaiah, Joshua, Carl, and Manny.
He's got a load of them. Good for you. Okay.
I have a basketball team.
Good. So, and what kind of work do you do?
I'm associate minister with Antioch Baptist Church at the time being, here in Waukegan. I've been with them for a couple of years. Prior to that, I was with Shiloh Baptist Church.
What is an associate minister?
I assist the pastor.
You assist the pastor?
In all the activities of operating the church.
Okay, well, we'll take that. Now, before we get into your transplant, let's go prior to that. And you were telling me of some apparatus which I did not understand. I'd like to learn a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Not at all. I was diagnosed in 1997 with cardiomyopathy. Mm-hmm. We believe it was...
Well, first of all, we have to stop here because I like everything explained to our audience.
Okay.
What is cardiomyopathy?
Cardiomyopathy is a weak heart, an enlarged heart.
Is that the muscle?
That's the heart muscle.
Okay, it's not the valve, it's the muscle.
It's all
okay,
muscle.
We have the picture.
That is, your heart has become like a sponge. It's become soft and has a difficulty in pumping the blood.
Okay.
And we believe it's hereditary because my mother died when I was 3 months old, and the only information I have is that she had a bad heart.
Uh-huh.
and that was passed on to me. I have 3 siblings, and none of them had any complications with their heart. I'm the baby. And we managed it well with medicines until 2006. 2006, it took a turn for the worse, and they had to put in a device inside my body to keep my heart pumping.
Was it inside your heart or inside your body?
Inside, it was inside my body.
But not in the heart.
One of the tubes connected to the heart,
Okay.
to the left side of the heart. The other tube connected to the aorta, and the pump would assist in pumping the blood through my body.
So this pump acted as a heart muscle.
Yes.
To assist what was coming out of the aorta, which is the main vessel of the heart.
It was taking the
aorta is the main vessel.
The blood out of the heart through the pump into the aorta, which allowed the blood to go through my body at the appropriate rate.
All right. So now, this is not a heart monitor. This is not.
No. This is an assist device.
It's an
that is in your body, and it runs on electricity. So I had a cord.
It's not a defibrillator.
No, it's much more
Well, I want to
expensive.
make it clear for our audience.
It's not a defibrillator. It's not a pacemaker.
Okay. So it's not in that category. Oh, so then what happened?
This device, as I was saying, it had a cord coming out of my right side, which connected to a controller, which ran on batteries and a power box. So when I wasn't connected to the power box, I had to be on batteries.
So you carried battery packs?
Yes, I had like a holster, like Elliot Ness, with 2 batteries that fit in it. Then that kept the pump going and kept me alive.
That's a complicated procedure.
Yes, I was that way for 7 months. And then they also had me on steroids. And the concept was to give my heart some rest, and with the steroids to stimulate rebuilding of the heart muscle. Well, the steroids had a negative effect to me, and they started weakening the heart more.
Instead of it building it up, it
tore it down, and it caused my heart to shrink more than what they anticipated. And that shrinkage caused the pump to malfunction. And it started cutting off the blood flow.
And so then what happened?
So they had to immediately put me on the heart transplant list.
Okay.
And I was on the pump from September to February. February the 1st, they sent me home to die. Because they couldn't guarantee when a heart would come available. And I was in such a down state, I couldn't walk without assistance.
Could I be impertinent and ask your age at that point?
55. Yes. And I didn't think
so
I was going to get a
when?
heart transplant.
2010?
2008.
2008. Okay.
Yes.
We just want to get the time frame.
Yeah, 2008.
Okay.
And I didn't think I was going to get a heart transplant. I didn't, there's no way you can guarantee when these things are going to take place. I couldn't ask anyone for a heart. That's the extreme sacrifice right there. And I didn't.
Well, you
feel
don't exactly go up to somebody and say,
"No, you don't.
Pardon me, but could I have your heart?"
Right. No, you don't. And I was really uncomfortable with praying for a heart as well.
Why?
Because in my praying for the heart meant somebody else had to die. And who am I to pick somebody to die? I just didn't feel comfortable with that.
I see.
And so my prayer was that, whatever the will of the Lord would be for my life, I had to learn how to accept that. And that's what I asked everybody else to pray for me as well, is that I would be able to accept, and if the Lord could save somebody through my dying, then I was fine with that.
Well, this is a lot of anguish to go through, and certainly a lot of anguish on your family.
Absolutely. My wife took it very, very hard because I can only imagine how she felt. But to see someone going through what I was going through and to be helpless and not able to do anything is rough. Has to be rough. And the other thing was my church was very involved in what I was going through as well, because I shared every step of the way with them. And so they got to see the ins and outs of my needing the transplant.
Now, I know that your faith had to keep you going at this particular time.
My faith was extremely important in keeping me going. I spent a great deal of time reciting scripture, praying. I had prayer warriors that were praying for me. It was a very difficult time to say at best. 35 days I was in the hospital after the first surgery, and it was probably 25 before I was able to get up out of the bed and walk on my own.
You're talking about the transplant?
From the pump.
From the pump.
From having the pump
Well, we're
implanted.
going to leave it there because I'm going to go into Vita's Pearls of Wisdom, but we're going to come back. We're going to leave you with a cliffhanger at this point. And there's a couple things I want to talk to you about. Now, this is, I don't know what time, when you're looking at it, what time of the year, but it's the winter season here. It's the season of January. And so in January, everybody gets those house doldrums. There's a few things I'd like you to do around your house. You know, one of the main causes for so many things happening to seniors and other people too is things around the house. So I want you to check it out around your house, in your bathroom. When you open up your door, the path from the bathroom from the bedroom to the bathroom, you check all the rugs. Now, being all those who have followed me, that I have a plate in my leg. I don't want to go into my surgery, but what I had to do was go in my house, and I had to isoderm it, that's what I call it, and check all the falling parts that there would be. So I don't have a rug on the floor in my bathroom. I don't have a rug, and I have a clear path from my bed to the bathroom with a little night light that I don't have to trip and fall along the way. And there's another place is by your kitchen sink, those little carpets. If you get your foot underneath it, and underneath the coffee table, if you have some of those throw rugs, now those rugs could look delightful from one aspect, but they're totally hazardous. And another thing, don't leave piles of newspapers laying around. Pack them up and either recycle them or put them someplace where they can be discarded, because that's a fire hazard in your home. And one of the things that I do a lot of baking around the holiday time, and I do a lot of cooking. I use my oven a lot. So I keep my oven in I don't do it because I can't bend down on my hands and knees, but I have somebody who does it and who cleans out all the grease in my fan, because that is the cause for most kitchen fires, that stuff will drop in your oven, and when you turn your oven on cooking other things, it can, if it's grease involved and the heat gets too high, it can ignite and cause a fire. So between those two things of clearing all the rugs and everything in your apartment, and if you are, what I actually fell from, if you're a person like me, you have to check. You probably have little step ladders, and at the bottom of the step ladder is a little caster and a little implement to keep it running through. Well, what happened to me when I fell off of that step ladder, the bottom of the caster had worn away, and I only had it on one part of the caster, so it was off balance. So when I got to the top stair of it, it went out from under me and I flew. So you have to check the bottom of it. And if you don't have to, don't get up there. And I want to get back to our guests today, but those are just little tips I'm bringing you for during this winter season. Okay, so we left you with the pump, and now we're coming into the second part of it.
Yes.
Now you're home, and now, so what happens with the heart transplant?
Now I'm home, and my wife, my sons are taking care of me. I can't be left alone. I can't ride in the front seat of a car. I have to be accompanied everywhere I go.
Why couldn't you ride in the front seat?
Because of the airbags
Oh,
would damage the pump,
oh,
and without the pump, no more life.
right.
And a couple of times we had power failure, which scared me to death. One of the times we had to get up, pack up, and move, and I went over to a friend's house until power was restored. Because I could not be without electricity. That first surgery, as I was saying, I was in the hospital 35 days. But when I had the transplant, I was home in 10 days.
In 10 days?
In 10 days. Amazing.
Well, how did you get the transplant?
I don't know. I don't know where the organ came from. I have reached out to the family, but they have chose not to respond. But it was Friday night. I came home.
How long were you home before you got the transplant?
2 days.
2 days?
2 days. I came home Friday night. Sunday morning, about 4 o'clock, I got the call that they had a heart for me.
So then you went into the hospital and you had it, and you were home in 10 days.
I was home
All right,
in
now
10
let's
days.
talk about the recuperation period.
A long time.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was a lot of walking, rehab to gain my strength back. I had a lot of hospital visits. You have labs that you have to do on a weekly basis. They would go in and do biopsies to make sure that the body wasn't rejecting the organ. And the longer you have the heart, the more infrequent the checks are. But it starts out every week, then every other week, and then every 3 weeks, then once a month. And right now it's annually.
Now, you've had it now 4 years?
4 years. It'll be 4 years in February.
And the first year and the second year were good, and then the third year?
The first year and the second year were very good. I didn't have any problems with rejection. I was going along just great. And July of the third year, 2010, the bottom fell out. I got hit with double rejection and ended up in the hospital. And I spent time in the hospital from July to January 2011 every month.
And then, now, where are you at now?
Now I've had 11 good months. So I'm very thankful and prayerful. I just had my annual biopsy last week, and all the results were favorable. I do have a minor problem at this point because the side effects from the rejection medicines affect the other organs. And so I'm having some kidney problems right now.
And probably blood sugar levels.
And blood sugar levels, absolutely. And eventually I will end up requiring a kidney transplant because of the side effects from my immune suppressant meds.
Now, you were talking about an organization. We'd like to bring up this organization and tell our audience a little bit about this organization.
Yes. I am a volunteer with the North Shore African American Task Force of Gift of Hope.
Gift of Hope.
Gift of Hope.
Now, does it, first of all, does it have a website?
Yes, it's giftofhope.com.
That's not hard to remember, giftofhope.
Giftofhope.com.
And what would we find on this website?
You will find all the information necessary for organ and tissue donation. We operate in the northeast corner of Illinois and northwest Indiana.
Well, let's talk just a few minutes about, I don't know if everybody knows about this task force that you're a part of.
The task force, there are 2 or 3 task force, and we operate within the communities. Mine African American Task Force, while we contact and interact with all people, we primarily focus on the African American community. They are, out of the 112,000 people that are waiting for organ donation in the nation. African Americans make up a good part of that.
So you're under the umbrella of the Gift of Hope.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
So this is a good work that you're doing.
Yes, it is. I think it's a much needed work. I've always been an organ donor, but I never knew or even given a thought that I would be a recipient as well. And so I've just increased my activity with the organization.
Now, I'm a diabetic, and so I've signed to donate all my organs to a group that does research
For science.
Yes. on different things. So I've donated donate my whole body to them to do it. So it's good this is like a way of giving back.
Absolutely.
And, we don't feel it because we're not here.
No, we don't. We can't take our bodies with us.
Right.
No.
But this is a subject, maybe it's the subject of death that people don't want to breach, that they don't want to talk about.
They don't want to talk about it. They're afraid of it. There are a lot of myths associated with organ donation. One of the myths is that if I become a donor, then the paramedics won't save me, the doctors won't work hard to revive me, which is totally untrue. We watch a lot of television, and television perpetuates that ideal.
Well, I think that the biggest denial of it is if I don't think about it and I don't talk about it, then I'm not going to die, and it's inevitable for everybody.
Yes, it is. We all have to go.
So our remains we should think about it, and we should prepare that somebody else doesn't have to make decisions for you, that you have control over your own self and what should happen to it. And this is a good thing. You are a recipient of it, and you're walking us through the steps. Now, how has this affected you psychologically?
It's made me really appreciate life all the more, and it's also made me to appreciate relationships that I have with people, because life is short. I mean, we spend a lot of time trying to build wealth, but then once we have it, we spend it all on trying to stay healthy.
Right.
And I'm no different than anybody else. I never thought I would be in this situation at 59 years old, having another person's organ in my body.
Has it brought you closer to your family?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. It makes me appreciate every moment that I have to spend with them. Time is nothing to waste.
Now, this whole show, I just happen to be the spokesman, but the show is actually the crew, and we're all volunteers, so we're all advocates of volunteering. And I know the audience gets sick of me. I become a preacher on volunteering, because it's the truth. And that when you give out honestly of yourself, you get much more back. There's
Absolutely.
a satisfaction that happens because you know that you're giving to the community, and it brings the community in closer to you. It's connecting the dots. It's making connections.
Yeah. Our mission is to save and enhance as many lives as possible through organ and tissue donation. So we try to encourage people to have regular checkups, to eat healthy, to exercise, and don't wait till the last moment before going to the doctor. Right? Because the things that we do today will prevent some of the negative things that will happen to us in the future.
And I think don't wait till the last moment to sign up, where there's so many different places and situations available for you to donate your organs. You can specify a particular organ, or you could...
Actually, what you do is you just become an organ donor. You can do that by going to giftofhope.com. You can do that at the Department of Motor Vehicles, and you can do that by seeing us at one of the festivals throughout Lake County. We're at all the different festivals and events, church activities.
You have a booth there?
We have a booth there, yes. We're at the Walk for Seniors and a lot of the other activities that take place, encouraging people and empowering people to become organ donors.
Now, do you go to different places and speak on this subject?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I
Now,
have
if
been to
somebody
colleges.
if somebody wants to personally contact you on this subject or wants to ask you some questions, how would they contact you?
They can contact me at 312-231-3011, or they can email me at mburnett51@sbcglobal.net.
All right, say that again, your email.
mburnett51.
Burnett, spell it.
B-U-R.
Small casing?
Small casing.
Okay.
MBURNETT 51 at sbcglobal.net.
Well, with all these close to death experiences, what would you say, how would I phrase this, the biggest blessing that has come out of it, how you view and how you're experiencing life at this point?
The biggest blessing I have is to be able to share my experiences with others, is to be able to talk to them about the importance of not only going to the doctor, but asking the doctors questions, doing some research on your own on the internet, and sharing that and educating people on the importance of being healthy and regular checkups.
Well, could you say that again? Because I think that people need a paper and pencil to write this down. That's how important I think it is. Just give it to us one more time.
Yeah, I think it's important to not only go to the doctor, to visit your doctor, but to ask questions. Ask the doctor questions. There's a commercial where a young man is talking to a cell phone salesman, and he's asking all sorts of questions about the cell phone. But when he gets into the doctor's office, he has no questions whatsoever. I think that should be just the opposite.
Right.
We should be asking as many questions as possible to make sure that we understand. We should be going on the internet and doing some research ourselves, finding out about the medicines that we're taking. What are the side effects? How do they interact with other meds?
Well,
All
you know
of
what?
these
We
things.
could go on and on, but we've come to the end of it. And when we come to the end of your rope, you know what you have to do? You right out there. You have to tie a knot and you have to hang on.
Yes.
Because the best is yet to come. What we want you to catch this week is the Spirit. God bless. We love you all.